got Mr. Kayode Idowu here. He's the CPS to INEC. So if they've got any questions, unanswered questions about INEC, well, he'll be here. Hopefully, they can get it in before we end the segment. But thank you, Sean, for speaking with us today. So let's get down then to Mr. Kayode Idowu. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Chamberlain. Thank you.
Well, about these elections, so of course, one of the main things that INEC always looks to solve and make sure this is properly done, even though the chairman says, look, these elections will be locally and internationally acclaimed. It means that there won't be any challenge with logistics. Do we assume that?
Well, you know, no human operation is perfect. We have to be downright about that. No human operation is perfect. INEC has done everything humanly possible to have a seamless operation. And so far, things are going on well. What the chairman has always said is that we will have an incremental advantage, incremental perfection in the process. As at Osun, when we did Ekiti State, 95.6% of the polling units opened by 8 a.m. And we hope to go beyond that this time. If 95.6% opened, we hope to hit 100. If we can't hit 100, we hope to go closer to 100 than we were in Ekiti State.
Do you consider the number of polling units you had in Ekiti and that you have
that's
in
part of
Osun?
that's part of the things we are talking about when we say human operations are not perfect. In Ekiti State, we have 16 local governments. In Osun State, we have 30. So we are dealing with a lot more number of polling units here, and so, but we hope that we will achieve it.
What's the plan to convey the materials to the polling?
Yeah,
units?
just like Sean said, we have created what we call the super racks. We have 108 super racks, and we have 94 racks, registration area centers. We call them super registration area centers. The super registration area centers are centrally located schools where people camp overnight, and then they can deploy early this morning or early tomorrow morning down to the polling units. Then we have racks also. These are less centralized. Super racks deploy down to the racks, and the racks deploy down to the polling units. So we've put all this in place. By tonight, all men and material should be at the racks so that deployment can be early tomorrow morning.
You know, constantly it would seem that political parties continue to try to outwit the electoral umpire, INEC, and INEC too is not resting on its oars. It would seem that it's also doing something to ensure that people who don't mean well for the commission, you know, are outwitted, as it were. Would you say that the new measures you have in place, for instance, the color coding and all of that, is it something that could help the elections be Reagan-proof?
Yes, these measures actually have been in place for a while. The color coding of ballot papers started way back from Edo and Edo elections. What we have done that is an addition to Ekiti now is because when we deployed in Osun, the chairman made a statement that, look, we color-coded ballot papers. And politicians came up, you know, making a glib allegations like they do, that, look, it was not true, that he told a lie, that there was no color coding. So we now, to prove that there was color coding, we gave the map of the color codes to the party agents when the ballot papers were being deployed, distributed yesterday, so that you could see that, look, in this polling unit, it is red ballot paper, in this, it will be green. For a long while now, we have also customized the result sheets. That was what created the problem in Anambra, such that the result sheet is customized to a polling unit. Now, in the past, when you use Proforma, you could take a result sheet in Lagos and take it to Sokoto and write your results, and you still announce, because there was no way to differentiate that the sheets you brought. It wasn't in Lagos, you wrote the thing and you came to announce it in Sokoto. But right now, it is customized to the polling unit. And there's a rigorous procedure for replacement if, for whatever reason, the one that is intended for the polling unit is not available. There's a rigorous procedure for replacement. So that it was the misplacement, the misdistribution in Anambra that created the fiasco that we had in Idemili. We've been doing that for a while also. And that's added to ballot boxes that are serially numbered and coded, ballot papers. Look, for God's sake, our ballot papers is of currency quality. It's amazing. It's evidence of where we are operating. In France, they use A4 paper. They just tear up A4 paper and give it to you, and you write the name of your candidates on it. And I think it was also in France. They give you all the enough ballot papers. There is one of the countries, I can't remember now. They give you the ballot papers of all the candidates, and you just pick the one that you choose. You drop it in the ballot box. You take the others home. Nobody cares. That's their own climb. But here, our own ballot papers are of currency quality, just to be sure that there are no games.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
The result sheets you talked about, you said, I was going to ask you earlier, is there only one copy that is printed per polling unit?
Yeah.
One copy.
That's why I said if it gets missing for whatever reason, maybe in the course of deployment, it falls in the river, or there's a rigorous procedure for replacement. But there's one that is customized to that polling unit.
What does that procedure involve?
I can't tell you.
You can't say
I can't tell you that.
Okay. Now, Chamberlain asked our colleague, Sheung, about certain allegations that had come up about plans to rig the election and all of that. But one of those allegations involves INEC conniving with their one political party to win the elections. How true is that? How do you react?
You see, allegations come by the dozens. And really, there is not much to be gained by responding to those, because it has become a flight of fancy. People just come up and say something is happening, and the challenge is to have any evidence that it is happening. What I can assure you is, if there is anything afoot and the notice of the commission is brought to it, you can have a 100% guarantee that it will be addressed. You can also have a 100% guarantee that INEC is not involved in any of those plots they are talking about.
You had a stakeholders meeting on Wednesday, I believe, and you also give room for some of these stakeholders to ask questions and share their concerns with you.
Yeah.
What would you say was your greatest takeaway from that stakeholders meeting?
Yeah, the fact that the parties were able to receive full explanation to the issues that they had, the fears, the apprehensions that they had. For instance, before we went into the stakeholder meeting, there was a report that a particular one of the partisans also told their agents, look, come into the polling unit, snap your ballot papers. If you don't have a camera phone, call somebody in to come and snap it for you. Whereas Section 125 of the Electoral Act is clear. It is an open, secret ballot. Open in the sense that you collect your ballot paper in public, you thumbprint in secret, then you come and cast in public. But the prerogative of who you vote for is your secret. And that was being threatened, and that had to be cleared. There were also a number of things that were said about our procedures, the issue of cloning of cards and all that, and all those were laid to rest. And for me, I do hope that they are truly laid to rest, because what we should be doing, really, if I were a partisan, is to concentrate on convincing the public of my program rather than trying to...
Is that